past year has been incredibly tough for our elderly community or people living on their own. So I want to brighten up your evening right now and give you an idea for something that you can do whilst we're in this lockdown 3.0. Now, Creative Mojo, what a great name, Creative Mojo, with care homes and vulnerable adults provide arts and crafts and activities. Now, during lockdown, they've been able to, unable to visit care homes, as you can imagine. So instead, been creating artefacts that can be delivered, which I think is brilliant, isn't it? So Annette Falkingham runs Coventry, Nuneaton and Warwickshire branch, and I'm delighted to say that she's joining me on the line tonight. Hello there, Annette. How are you?
Hello, I'm really good. Thank you, Brody, and thank you very much for inviting me to come and have a chat with you this evening.
No, it's a lovely thing, isn't it? So we've got to talk first of all, haven't we? I mean, how did you get involved in this? Because it's a lovely thing. Were you always a crafty person?
Well, it's an interesting one, actually. Yes, I've always been very crafty, and also my partner Max has always been very crafty. He was at a little bit of a loose end work-wise. He finished a job he wasn't very happy with and didn't know what to do. And a little advert popped up one morning on my Facebook, and I loved the graphics on it, and it was really bright and vibrant. And I thought, I like the look of this. Had a look, and I sort of to Max, have a look at this as well, and we said, okay, we'll go further. So we visited the Creative Mojo website, and it's actually a franchise business. So we went down and met with Sandra and Paul Dunkley down in Tiverton, who is head office, and they talked us through, and they had us back a second time to actually then go and work for a day in firstly a care home, then a learning disability home, and then an individual's own home. And we loved it, and we said, right, we want to be part of this. So they said, well, we could get involved with Coventry and Nuneaton franchise. So we did that in 2018 in May, and we absolutely loved it. Gradually built our business from scratch, really, visiting care homes, learning disability homes, and individuals in their own home, which is great. We delivered like group packs, so we would be working with a whole group in a home, or a learning disability home, and then we would go into an individual's home. Obviously, with the onset of COVID in March, this very quickly ground to a halt.
Oh, well, it's done that with everything, hasn't it, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so annoying. So what kind of reaction do you get then when you go into the care homes or the other places you've mentioned? Because that's got to be such a wonderful feeling to know that you brightened up somebody's life.
Yeah, it's so rewarding. And I think we've got some really lovely stories to tell of homes where, the elderly homes where they've literally just sat in a chair and not really done a great deal of anything. Or I think the other side of that is that they'll start to reminisce with some of the things that they used to do in the past. Because the key to what we do with Creative Mojo is Sandra and Paul developed a templated system. So we have a massive range of different shapes that the residents in the homes or the centres can paint, and they could either like a shape or like an animal or an image or something that's there, and they can get involved in painting it. And even if they can do very, very little, so we've had one learning disability customer who literally just painted orange. That's all he wanted to paint was orange, and a lot of orange paint on a shape. But we can still, the way the system works is that we come up with a design, an overall design, and what they add to it within the shapes, they could just do a little bit of dabbing paint onto a template, or they could be much more, some residents are very able, and they could paint a beautiful bird that they've remembered, or a car, or anything that they've remembered that could add to that overall design. So it can be as intricate or as very simple as needs be, but because of the way they all link together, we can make a very beautiful overall design.
Oh, well, it's a wonderful thing, isn't it? So let's talk about how important you think art is then, because the truth of the matter is, it's incredibly important, isn't it, to keep that brain engaged, no matter how old you are and whatever the situation you've got going on. But especially in care homes as well, it's all about. I'll use that term again. It's all about staying engaged, isn't it, and doing stuff, getting the brain working.
Yeah, it is tremendously. And there's been a lot of documentation going on recently how important it is. And we've actually found that some of the care homes where residents have had to isolate in their room, and they've become very, very isolated in their room. The great thing with the Mojo bit is that even if they are having to isolate in a room, the carers can bring a shape or something to them. And it is really important for their mental health and well-being. it actually stimulates some, again, I was saying reminiscing of things in the past that they've done before. They suddenly start to remember they might have worked in a shop, or they've been involved in painting the church or something like that. Something suddenly sparks a memory, and then they suddenly become engaged. We had one lady, and she was in her 90s, I think 91 or so, and she said, I don't paint, I don't want to paint, I can't see it. And then she remembered a dog that she had, and she wanted to paint the dog, and she painted the most beautiful dog shapes, and she kept them because she wanted to give to her grandchildren.
Amazing.
And it's so moving, you know. It really gives you goosebumps. It makes you so...
Well, do you know what? Funny you say that. It's just given me goosebumps hearing that. Somebody completely adamant. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And it turns into something wonderful. So let's get right up to date then. You've kind of touched on it already anyway. But let's talk about COVID then, because, you know, our care homes, they need to be protected, of course. And, you know, we all know that we need to protect our people in care homes. So have you been able to carry on?
We have. We obviously can't go in anymore. We have a whole COVID protocol of what we can and can't do, and everything is kept separate and safe and whatever. But what we do is we now deliver packs. We drop them off, and obviously they can then be left in a safe place for 72 hours or however long they feel they need to leave those. The packs are basically not as good as us delivering our workshops one-to-one, but they have everything that's needed. They have full instructions, and in a lot of cases we also have video instruction as well. And the carers are then in a position to be able to deliver those classes or sessions to the residents. And they're working in... It varies from home to home, and some of them now are very busy, certainly at the moment with all the COVID vaccinations going on.
Yes.
So they are very busy. But they absolutely love having our packs. They know that if they're at a loose end, or they've got a couple of hours that they need to sort of fill a day and give the residents something interesting to do, they know they can rely on us to give them a really good project that they can work on. And it may be that it takes them several weeks to complete the project.
Doesn't matter.
So they can do as little or as much as they feel they want to do on a specific project. And if the care home has like we have had in the past, where they've, not at the moment, but they've had an open day or something, or they've got a special birthday, maybe someone's 100 or something like that, that they can phone us up and ask us, say, can we make a really bespoke one that's got a person's name or something they really like and are interested in? We can actually adapt it to include that, so it's not just a general thing. We actually make it very specific.
Oh, well, listen, you've done such a lovely job explaining what you do, honestly, because there's a lot more to it than meets the eye, isn't there? It's about, as we've just alluded to, often changing people's lives whilst you're going. So that is wonderful. Yeah. So if anybody wants to find out more about what you do, Annette, and at Creative Mojo, is there a place they can go to?
Yeah, the best place to look, they can go directly to the head office, creativemojo.com, and then they will find us as the franchise for this area, for Coventry, Warwickshire, or they can look at our Facebook page, so they can look at Creative Mojo Coventry and Warwickshire, Creative Mojo Coventry and Nuneaton, and they will see all the examples of the work that we currently got underway, and they can direct message us there and get in contact with us that way.
Lovely. Well, Annette Falkingham, who runs Coventry, Nuneaton and Warwickshire branch of Creative Mojo, thank you for joining me.